I love the game. Like, I love hustling. I love going and buying shit and selling it. I love going and finding a shirt that, like, I didn't think I was going to see. I love going to one thrift store 2 times in a row, not finding anything, and going back the 3rd time and finding like 10, 15 sick things. Like, I just love that feeling.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have a special guest upon us, and we will announce that shortly. But for now, you have Big C and our Mr. Austin Lutz. We will come at you live from our DC studio. Thank you so much for listening to our first episode. If you didn't, and you don't like us, that is completely okay. Just walk in the other direction, because we're going to keep making this shit. So what do you have to say, my boy?
You've got a great radio voice, first off. That was perfect. So great job on that.
Thank you.
But welcome back to episode 2 of the Black and Gold podcast. If you watched the first one, you're back again. That's your fault. I can't take any more blame after that if you came back. But thank you for coming back. We appreciate it. We're gonna have some fun here. So this is our 2nd episode. We just started doing this a couple days ago.
Yes, sir.
We shot the first episode, had a great time. We said, all right, let's maybe in like another week we'll do another one. And then we had something come up. Somebody who's very hard to get a hold of. Seeing him in person is like seeing a unicorn. I only get to see the guy in person every couple years when we happen to cross paths, but I've known him for a long time. So
I've known him longer.
You have known him longer. You have known him longer too.
Small world.
It's very, very small world. But anyway, so this is our first guest on the Black and Gold podcast, episode 2. So our guest is signed to Dynasty Models. He's the owner and creative director of his own clothing line for 8 years. He was named to Pittsburgh City Papers Best of the Best-Streetwear. He's got a beard like Action Bronson and hair like a blonde Jason Momoa. He is the hippie at heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Moon.
What an intro. I don't want to knock your TV off the wall.
Oh, you're okay.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
How's it going, my man?
Oh, man. Happy to be here.
Happy to be
Very
here.
Happy to be here.
How
This
is
is like, I feel like I'm sitting in a time machine with you two right now. It's unbelievable.
Honestly, yeah. So, it is kind of crazy. So, just I love the way the world puts people together. Sometimes it's kind of crazy. So,
I heard something like, every person in the world through 6 people.
yeah, it
was like
the
some
law
type
of six degrees of separation. I think is what it's called. That
I just thought it was the law of being awesome.
that's what we can call it. But I think it's called either 6 or 7 degrees of separation, where everybody in the world, but if you were to go down the line of 6 certain people, you could connect to everybody in the world. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea, but it sounds cool, so I like it. And it's a cool concept to think that you have that close of a connection to that many people. But so, Brandon, you and I met back when I was in college. So I was working at Oakley at the good old Grove City Outlets.
Yep.
You were working across the aisle at Zoomies.
Yep.
Met
Selling
there,
skateboards.
selling skateboards, selling clothes, even back then.
Yep.
And realized we had a couple friends in common. Became friends. You were another friend who was always into business type stuff and all that kind of stuff, and so we really clicked that way, and you've just kind of always been around. However many years later, I end up down here in DC.
Was that like 2010?
2010. Yeah, 2010 was when I graduated high school.
Yeah,
So
because I started working at Zoomies, I think my sophomore or junior. I think it was my junior year of high school.
nice. Okay.
That's about right.
Okay. Yeah. So right around that same time. So through the whole through all the years of college, years later, end up down here in DC. Christian and I meet and become friends. start talking about doing a podcast, and I mentioned, oh yeah, we should have my friend Brandon Moon on at some point, and Christian says, "What?"
Yeah. I can say I kind of known that guy since I was 5 years old. I went to the same school as him for 10 years.
Sat together in Spanish class.
Sat together in Spanish class.
Yep. I was like a month ago years old when I found out that you guys even knew each other. Like, I didn't realize you guys were friends. I was like, wait, what? What are you talking about? It's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's great how the world
Small
puts people
world
together, though.
It's a good thing.
Glad to see
It's
you
great.
again.
For
It's been
sure.
too long. It's
Yeah,
been
and then
12 years, I
absolutely,
think.
agree, man.
And then
Glad
so,
to link up.
like we started saying, Monday we shot our first episode, and we said, let's try for another one in like a week. Let's do that. I think like the next day, Brandon texted me after I had sent him a couple clips from the podcast to get his opinions on them. Said, hey, I'm on my way to the beach. I might be stopping through DC for a day. Do you guys have time to do a podcast? And why
Let's
not?
get it.
So here we are.
Why not? Let's grind it out.
Made it work.
Real quick to go
Snap
off
necks
of
and
that.
cash checks.
Love to see
That's
it.
what I like to say.
Love to see it.
If just to go off of that, if I didn't know you and I saw you, I would probably say, yeah, that guy's on his way to the beach.
Yeah,
Like,
I look like I probably belong there. That's a pretty reasonable.
Or
statement.
Yeah.
a music festival, and we'll get to that soon.
That's
Yeah,
it. Or on
yeah.
my way to the barber shop.
I don't know. It looks like you haven't
I'm
been to
not
one of
going
those
to the
in,
barber shop,
in quite a quite a while.
Sure haven't.
Anyway, so glad you're here. Love to have you on.
Thank you, man.
Just wanted to go into a little bit here. So you've got a clothing line, like I mentioned in the intro here.
Yep.
Hippy at Heart.
Yep.
That's been going for 8 years now. Going on 8 years.
It'll be 8 years in November. Yeah.
That's wild. I remember when you first started bringing that up and talking about what you wanted to do with that and everything.
Sending you pictures of shitty logos and shitty designs, and you were like, "Yeah, bro, it looks dope."
Yeah,
like,
man,
gassing
keep
it up,
going
too.
with
I
it,
appreciate
dude.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
You had another one you started before that, correct? What was that one called? I'm
Yeah.
blanking on the name.
So I didn't actually start that one. A kid from back home that I
Okay.
knew had started it, and somehow we ended up kind of like, I became involved in it. He kind of like had me working on it with him, and long story short, it really wasn't going anywhere, and I kind of had this like idea of doing it on my own. Like always had wanted to do one on my own, and just kind of got myself out of that. Like respectfully, like me and him are still cool, and just decided to go start my own, and it just kind of happened. I really didn't know what I was doing. Like really had no concept of like how to start or own or operate a clothing line or make clothes or get screen printing done or anything like that, and just kind of went all out and gave it a shot and tried to make things work as best I could at the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the book The Everything Store? It's about Amazon. It's
No.
about Jeff Bezos
Nope.
starting Amazon. So when to try to sum it up real quick, he was working for an investment company in New York City at the time. Was making lots of money. Was already a millionaire. Had this idea in the late '90s for this thing he wanted to call the Everything Store, and just the internet was this new thing.
Yeah.
And he had this idea of someday having some place online where everything you could think of that you wanted, you could go on and buy it online, right? So he started getting this idea for it, and he's working with all these guys who are, investment guys. They're giving out millions, if not billions of dollars to companies to do those exact same things. He starts bringing it up to them. They're all on board. And at some point he gets the thought of, I've got all these guys willing to give me money, but if they're giving me money, they're going to be a part of it. The only way I'm ever going to make this mine and make this exactly how I'm envisioning it is if I do it on my own. Yeah. So I can't take any money from anybody else, even though I've got however many millions they're willing to invest right now. Which, like I said, he had money at the time, nowhere near what he has now, nowhere near enough to run the entire company. But, he walked away from that, went on his own, fundraised on his own so that he could do it on his own, and build it exactly how he wanted. Obviously, it paid off for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's
But
doing okay.
yeah, it's kind of reminded me of that a little bit. To give you a Jeff Bezos comparison.
Yeah,
what more could you want?
Little out of my wheelhouse, but yeah, kind of similar.
Hey, you never know. I mean, hey,
Never know.
That's the beauty of it. You started this 8 years ago, and you already have notable people repping your brand. I mean, it only goes up from here. And I
Definitely.
think as long as you have the grind and determination, I mean,
Yeah.
Who says no to
working hard, just treating people right, and just making a name for yourself in the best way that you possibly can, but also having fun while you're doing it. And I definitely make sure I do that too. So that's very important.
So I'm on your website right now, and you have some pretty dope ass like material. So what kind of ideas do you come up with? Like I see like the Dale Earnhardt tee going on right here from Ha Eclectic.
Yeah.
I see you have the like a certain section up there to click on as well. So what is Ha Eclectic?
So Ha is H-A-H, Hippy at heart. That's just like an abbreviation for it basically. But eclectic, nah, you're good. I have people that ask me that stuff all the time. They're like, Ha, what's that? I was like, it's a joke, duh.
I've actually got the Hippy at heart headband that says Ha.
Right.
So I always get comments on that anytime I wear it too.
What is that? Yeah, no, but eclectic is just the vintage portion of my website. It's like a little bit more curated, like higher end pieces that I enjoy the most. I want people to feel kind of like they're shopping out of like my vintage tea closet, essentially. Right. So that's the vintage portion of it. Hippy at heart in general. Do a bunch of different stuff. We do tees, hoodies, hats, all different kinds of stuff, just depending on the year. I got some new stuff coming out next month too.
Yeah, you got the summer 2021 stuff about to come out, right?
I got some baseball shirts coming.
Heard it here first.
I was gonna say nobody
hippyatheart.com.
knows this.
Is this an exclusive announcement?
This is exclusive. Nobody knows this yet. For the ladies, I've got bicycle shorts, little biker short set coming out here. Another crop top coming out. Got a couple of collabs in the work here for the near future too. So the new stuff, I'm always trying to like switch it up a little bit and not do exactly the same thing. Like if a design goes over really well and I sold them quickly, I might put the same design out multiple times, just typically like with different shirts though, or a different piece in general, because like I don't want a bunch of people to be walking around all wearing the same stuff. Like I'm not, like some big, box store brand by any means, but at the same time, like in a small city like Pittsburgh, like I do a lot of sales in Pittsburgh, and like I want people to, feel like they have like an individuality if they're a part of the brand in general, just with anything that they buy. So I always try to like switch it up and do different logos and try to not do the same thing over and over and over again and be very repetitive. I try to set myself apart, at least when it comes to that type of stuff. Even with colors, like different color products and like different tie-dye patterns and just switching it up a little bit.
That's one thing I think you definitely do a really good job of is sticking to something that looks like it would go with your brand while also keeping it diverse and doing different designs, different styles, and evolving over the years.
That's really what it is too.
Definitely.
It's like you gotta keep up with what people want to see too. It's not all about me. It's more about like I want people to be happy with what they're wearing. So like I'm typically basing what I'm getting off of suggestions from people for the most part. Like you ask enough people what you should put out, and people will tell you. So that's kind of the fun part about it too.
I want to talk about this real quick.
Oh yeah.
Because this is Terrell Edmonds, member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is your shirt.
Correct.
That you designed.
Yes.
So, number one, how did this happen? Number two, did you know this was going to happen?
No, I did not.
He just. So, is this something he just bought off your site, or somebody bought off your site and gave to him?
No.
Or
I
was a girl he slept with, maybe.
I was gonna say I cannot comment on that. No, honestly, I reached out to him. We really had no prior connection. I just reached out to him, and he was a cool guy, and I ended up sending him some clothes, and really had no idea that he was going to post anything. And then one night I saw his story that he had like posted something working out in it, and I messaged him. I was like, oh man, like thank you, like I really appreciate that. And then like a bunch of my friends were tagging me, and like I didn't even know, but like he had posted that in it and I hadn't even seen it yet. And then like I think he posted another video like a couple of days later too. So it was just like one of those cool experiences. Like it wasn't planned, it just kind of happened, and he just like went out of his way to kind of help me out, whether he knew he did or not. Like he did, and that was a good look, and I appreciate that.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and I think this is the other one here.
Yeah.
And for everyone that doesn't know, Terrell Edmonds is the starting strong safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Former first-round pick.
Yep. Former first-round pick. Would love to have him on the podcast sometimes, Terrell, if you are listening.
All of his brothers are in the
Definitely.
NFL too.
Yeah,
Definitely. It's the three brothers. At one point, too.
Youngest one's on the Lurs, the other one's on the Bills.
So at one point we had two of them.
Their youngest brother was on the series. I don't think he is anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Although
I think he was a running back.
I hope he's on some other team now. I hope he's
definitely.
doing well.
Yeah. No, I loved having. I loved having that trio, and then also same thing with the Watts. Anytime you get a connection like that, that's rare. Where it's it's rare for one person in a family to make it to become that level of an athlete, let alone to have 3 brothers.
You gotta have
all
some
do
good
it.
genes. That's for sure.
And then all share the same field at the same time.
Everyone wanted J.J. Watt on the Steelers so bad. Like a lot of
I
people were
did.
fanboying.
I did.
I didn't. I didn't.
I'm gonna be
I
honest.
wouldn't have been upset if we got him.
So here was my.
I would have been upset, but like he would have been expensive.
But no,
plus
here,
we're trying to
if
rebuild
he,
like our offensive line, get a running.
I think
back.
if
obviously we got a rookie running back, so it doesn't really matter at this point.
I think
JJ's
if we would
retiring.
I think if we would have brought JJ to Pittsburgh, it would have been him agreeing to a lower contract. I don't think he would have gone for a ton of money. I think it would have been more of the fact of, okay, I just made all my money. I made $100 million plus in Houston. Now I get even if it's a 1-year contract, I can go have the experience of a lifetime, the year of a lifetime that people have dreamed of, and play on an NFL team with my 2 brothers, which ultimately he decided against and
he said, screw that.
Didn't do it. So he said, screw that.
I hated living with my brothers growing up. I'm not going to be on a team with them now.
Yeah, right. But no, anyway, that's how I looked at it. I think he would have been a great piece player be just obviously he's got knowledge. He knows how to play. He knows how to read offenses. I think he would have been great, but he went on to Arizona, so he's going to do great
good
things there.
I don't care.
Arizona's building a team. They've got some pieces now.
Arizona would be pretty solid. I hope James Conner fares well out there.
I do too.
A lot of people say they're the Steelers of the West.
Yep.
And like when you go over there, like when you go Steelers play in Arizona, there are a shit ton of Steeler fans when you see the games.
We travel.
Yep.
We travel.
We don't travel well. We're just everywhere. Steeler Nation is a real thing.
I was out there in December, and they got like Steeler bars and stuff out there, like a lot of places, like
Yeah.
Florida does, and like down here.
Yeah,
too,
like there's a Steeler bar in Arlington, like 2 miles away from us right now.
It's
There's a Steeler bar in
than
DC.
2. It's actually
There's probably
under a mile,
Steeler.
about
I guarantee you, there's a Steeler bar downtown Tampa Bay where you're going this week.
There's Steelers bars everywhere.
sure.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a good thing. Get the people behind us.
Oh, 100%, 100%. There was another one even.
Most loved but most hated.
Right.
Right.
Catch a lot of that. Too.
There was also Tortoise in the Hair that was around for a long time down here.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Tortoise in the Hair. They were a Steelers bar that was down here, and they would keep like Pittsburgh prices, so you could get like a Yingling or an Icy Light there for like $2.50, $3. When you're down here, they'd have pierogies, they'd have a Primanti's imitation, all that kind of stuff. But they did. I mean, they were around for quite a while. I think they were around for like 13, 14 years from what other people told me. I only knew them, the few that I had been down here for while they were open. But
the only reason I miss them is because they're the only restaurant that had Iron City Light.
Yep.
I pounded Ix there.
Yep.
Like for real dough.
Like it was your job.
Good stuff. You ever had Icy Light Mango?
Dude,
Yes,
don't get me started on them Icy Light mangoes and that.
So good. So good.
Summer hasn't started until you've popped open one of those.
That's for sure.
God.
That marks the beginning.
I think a draft is the absolute best. Then bottles, then cans. I
Yeah.
don't like the
Not the
cans
can-
as much.
I don't think anyone's really a fan of cans
But
anymore.
if someone hands me one, I will definitely drink one regardless. They're pretty delicious. It tastes like summer. It tastes like you're drinking a summer Pittsburgh beer for sure.
Definitely.
Only canned beers I honestly will enjoy is like a Miller Lite can, a Bud Light can, and like a Coors Light can. Like just like those simple domestics. Like that's it's like drinking like a pop or soda for all you assholes that say that around the world.
Do they say soda or pop down here?
They say soda.
A lot of people say soda, but it's kind of a mix because you get such a mix of people where people come from down here. But it's one of those things. If you say pop, somebody's gonna say something about you saying soda.
Right, for sure.
And if you say soda, chances are somebody's gonna say something about it.
It's like up in New England, you said pop, and they just looked at you like you had antlers on your head. They're like, it's a Yinzer thing. You just wouldn't understand up here.
Definitely. You mentioned. I just wanted to pull it up since you mentioned the clothing line earlier. The Hippy at Heart. Eclectic, the different collections, the Earnhardt,
Randy's
restock. So is that? Tell me about Randy's restock.
Yeah,
that's new in the last year, right?
Yeah,
year or
honestly,
two?
like the last few months. A lot of people have asked me about that, so happy to clarify on that. What Randy's is essentially all the items that I pick up when I go thrifting. Like, obviously, every time I go thrifting, I don't find like the top quality pieces and like the high end nicer items and like stuff that I'm looking for in particular at the thrift stores and when I'm out and about, but like I'll still like things and buy stuff. And I ended up accumulating so much stuff after a while from thrifting that I needed another outlet to sell this stuff on. And so that's why I created Randy's. It's stuff that like the price points are a little bit lower. It's more sporadic. Like I put stuff out there, you know, pretty much 2 or 3 times a week I have been for the last few months that I've had it. And just trying to, you know, keep cash flow going for Hippy at heart when it comes down to it. And I mean, I love the game. Like, I love hustling. I love going and buying shit and selling it. I love going and finding a shirt that, like, I didn't think I was going to see. I love going to one thrift store 2 times in a row, not finding anything, and going back the 3rd time and finding, like, 10, 15 sick things. Like, I just love that feeling. Like, I really do enjoy doing it, and so that's why I've been doing it the way that I have.
Definitely.
To be completely honest, like, the grind's, like, the best part, because, like, no one knows, like, what you got or going through until you get there.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
Well,
like,
I like thrifting, too, because it's kind of gritty. It's like people kind of have, like, a dirty outlook on it in a way. And like, ew, I wouldn't go do that. Like, I probably said that at one point. Like, why would I go do that?
I'm getting
like,
goosebumps right now, because initially in our first
yeah.
episode, I said Pittsburghers are built on grit.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's
said
you
gritty,
said that in the
so-
first minute or
I got
so.
goosies right now.
Different, yeah. No, but it's just one of those things too. It just goes to show you, like, you can really make money doing about anything, but you know you got to go out and work for it. You can't just like sit around and hope it works. You know, that's the other thing with the thrifting. It's like I never really went thrifting often. It was like an every now and then thing. And once I started like selling more clothes and like started Randy's and started doing that, now I find myself thrifting like multiple times a week because it's like you sell enough stuff, you have to go find more, or you just don't have anything to sell. You know, after a while, people start looking at the same thing over and over again, and like, you know, it's going to sit there for a while. Like people don't buy it right off the rip.
So this leads up to my next question. Do you like search online or like plan out, like, do you have like a map of like thrift stores you go to around like, I guess the Western PA area, or I guess wherever you travel?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Because obviously, say you go to a Goodwill in like near your area, but then you only see so much stuff. Do you like research other areas like in the region, or say you're going to Tampa? Do you like maybe hit somewhere down there and like drive it back?
Yeah, so like the last time I was in Tampa, I didn't do any thrifting down there. I was just down there strictly to go to the beach for the weekend. But like in general, back home, Western PA, I think it's kind of slept on as far as like people not knowing the potential of the thrift stores around there. Like
Definitely.
I have like a rotation that I do every time I go thrifting.
Gotcha.
Like one area in particular, there's like 3 or 4 thrift shops that I'll hit all in one morning or one afternoon, and then like the next day maybe go to another place that's got 2 or 3, and then the next day go to one that's got like 4 or 5, and it's like, you know, you might go to 2, 3, 4 of them, not find anything, and then in one store you find like 10, 15 things, or like you might find a bunch of stuff at like a bunch of different ones, and like it's always different. But like for me to be in this position with where I'm like, you know, thrifting consistently, I hate to like go somewhere, especially somewhere new that I haven't been, or somewhere that I haven't been to in a long time, and not go do that. Like tomorrow, I'm gonna go to some of the places around here too, because like I've never went thrifting.
I can
here.
after this podcast is over, and when we watch the Pens go kick the Islanders' ass
Go Pens.
at the end of the game. Yeah, let's go Pens. I'll give you a couple places that I've been to before when I first moved down here. I bought like furniture and shit. But obviously they have a bunch of clothes and stuff, so I'll hook you up.
I got time to kill tomorrow, so that was one of the things. I was just like, I'm gonna make work out of it. Like even like I'm going down to meet my family down in the Outer Banks tomorrow. I'm meeting up with them tomorrow, and we're going down on Saturday.
Ooh, OBX.
Yeah, shout out to old Cape Hatteras. We've been going there since I was a baby. My parents have been going there since before I was born, actually. So like that's always been like our family spot. But like down there, it's so far down the Outer Banks that like there's not much going on. It's probably like an hour south of like Nag's Head, like Corolla, like probably an hour and a half from Kitty Hawk. So like I might try and like hit some places on the way down there maybe. As far as like that area, I've looked, and there's a couple of places I'm gonna stop, but like not as much, just because it's not really meant for that. It's like the locals live there, and it's just kind of like a beachy town, but it's nice because it's like the week before Memorial Day too, so it won't probably be super busy. We tend to go like the week before Memorial Day, so like it's
Nice.
more low key. There's not as many people there.
Yeah.
My family loves that. Like I like being in places that are, you know, high energy and bumping, and my family likes to just like be low key, not have anybody around them, just the beach to themselves, and like that's cool too. I get that. You know, they they work hard all year so they can go on their beach trips.
That's
so
their escape.
That's what they've
That's their
always
relaxation.
liked to do, and that's just how it is. So that's what it is.
And it's what they deserve to do. They put up with you for 18 years until you moved out. Well,
I was gonna say my mom's ready to wring my neck after all the stuff I've been putting her through. Nothing too bad, but I just stress her out a lot. Like
I think we all do that with our parents.
Is a lot different than their lifestyle. So
okay, yeah. So let's get into that.
They don't know how to handle
obviously, you're not in like a normal 9-to-5 job.
No.
What does that entail on like a day-to-day basis? What motivates you every day? I guess, like, do you like are you working like 7 days a week? Are you like just like constantly, like, you'll give your time some breaks every now and then? Like,
yeah.
What does that look like exactly?
Real quick before you go into full detail on that, just to give them a little perspective. So, you had another job within the industry that you were working,
right,
and doing Hippy at Heart for quite a while traveling for your job.
Right.
So you were literally
living out
all
in
over,
hotels, yeah.
all over. What is the Mid-Atlantic region, New England region?
New England
region.
All the New England states and upstate New York.
In and out of hotels, always on the go, doing Hippy at Heart too, putting out clothes. How did you manage all of that? First off, and then I want to hear like Christian asked about how are you managing it now that you can put your time
right.
Yeah,
full.
good follow up.
Yeah, well, like, as far as having the full-time gig goes, like, you have to put the full-time gig first and get your job work done because it's top priority. It pays your bills. You're traveling for it. You have to be at meetings. You have to, plan accordingly to that lifestyle and do that. So, like, in reality, like, Hippy at Heart was kind of like the back burner, you know what I mean, for the last 3 years because it's like that was the full priority at the time. And then once COVID came and I wasn't working for them anymore, I've had more time to kind of do Hippy at Heart on my own. It's been great because, like, I can work from my phone. Like when I'm out thrifting or running around, or like I'll go to Pittsburgh, I'll do meetings, I'll shoot with people, I'll do whatever and kind of run around. But like I can always work from my phone or like take my laptop to a coffee shop or just like go sit at a coffee shop and just like crank stuff out. Other than fulfilling orders and like being at my office, like to go through inventory and like, if I do like a pop-up or something, like you got to get all the inventory situated, and I have an office where I send all my stuff out back home too. So like I spend quite a bit of time there. Like I do all my product shots up there too. Mm-hmm. So like you got to make time to do that as well. So it just kind of it varies. Like every day is a little bit different. Like I'll wake up and like maybe not have a schedule set, and I'll just kind of like go sporadic, like go to the first thing that needs done and just kind of like start the checklist of the day. And then other times I'm like, okay, like 7 a.m., this is what we're getting into. I got this at 1, I got this at 1:30, like, and then the rest of the day, it's like, okay, we've got like 3 hours here, and it's like, then by the time I get home, it's going to be like 11 o'clock, and I'm going to be passed out on the couch because I'm exhausted. It always varies. It's never the same, which is kind of nice. Like, I like not having too much structure. I like structure accordingly, like at certain times, but I don't like it all the time, every single day, nonstop. Like I don't like the 9-to-5 lifestyle.
General structure with free flowing stuff within it.
I like to make my own schedule when it comes down to it. I work better that way. I work better doing weird hours. Like I'll go from like waking up at like 5 a.m. For like months to like going and working from like 8 to like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then waking up at like 7 or 8 and like doing things differently too. Like it just kind of depends. It's always different, always switching.
Yeah, especially I think with like your own business, you kind of like don't even think of time as a concept because you're like just trying to build your brand and your company so much. Like you'll start maybe your day at like 10 or 11 a.m. but you'll grind until 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. maybe. Who the hell knows?
Well, it's like sometimes you'll bury yourself in the office and won't even realize you've been there for 10 or 12 hours. And it's like, whoops, like on accident. Or like you'll go to bed and like, oh, like I don't know what I'm going to do in the morning. And then you wake up and there's like, 5, 10, 15 orders or whatever. And you're just like, oh shit, like, okay, I guess I'm going to the office. And it's like your day just changes immediately.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I'm not complaining. Like I love that. And I'm, very grateful when that happens. But it's also random sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know when it's going to happen.
I've heard somebody say the definition of an entrepreneur is somebody who will work 100 hours a week so that they don't have to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Well, it's different too because it's like if someone's blowing you up like at 1, 2 in the morning, like in your DMs or like texting you and they need something urgent and I'm up or awake, it's like I'm gonna like switch what I'm doing and kind of like focus on that. Or like if I haven't texted somebody back in like 2 or 3 days just because like I got caught up in something, it's like then I'll text them at like 11 p.m. and then I'm like up for another hour or two later than I planned on it because I'm talking with them. It's just like you really got to be all over the place, but like you have to be on top of whatever's gonna get you to where you're going fastest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whatever your mind's set on, that's where your focus has to be. So like at the same time, like I'm not always the best at responding and getting back to people too. Like I'm not ignoring anybody on purpose, but like I just get caught up in like what I'm doing a lot of times, and I lose focus on like social media every now and then, like responding and sending texts and stuff like that. Like I'm not the greatest with that these days.
Well, you've got to find that sweet spot of staying in touch with the people and talking to the people that you want to be around and you want to keep around, and keeping communication with them on an important level, and kind of cutting out some of the just general casual, hey, what's up? Yeah. How are you? Yeah. I'm good. Like, a lot of that kind of general stuff that the people you have those general conversations with, or at least put them on the back burner a little bit when you have things that are, I hate to say, but like more important, but that you're prioritizing.
At the end of the day, like you got to know what your top priority is too. And if it comes down to me, like, I got to be at the office and get this done tonight, like I might not text you back, like if I'm in the middle of something for a few hours, because like that's got to get done. You know what I mean? Like that's the best part about running the clothing line by myself. It's like if I don't get it done, it's not going to get done. Nobody else is going to do it for me, and that's one of those things. Like I tell everybody, it's like it's up to me, and like I like it that way. Like eventually it's going to get to the point where I have to have other people helping me, and like I do have other people help me as far as like graphic designers and like people that I work with, like on events, and like in the future I'm gonna get into some more stuff like that here too. But like it's just one of those things, like you have to be able to communicate with people really well, but you have to be very straightforward with how you want to do things and like what needs done and your expectations and so on and so forth. But in general, like when it comes to running the clothing line, I can handle most things on my own, and if it's out of my wheelhouse, I try to not be stubborn with it. I try to understand that like I'm not the best at it and it needs to get outsourced to somebody else that's more capable and has the time to do it and can do a better job. Like I try to not put too much pressure on myself when it comes to that. Like I know what I'm good at and what I'm not great at. So
yeah, and like building a business is part of growth and learning, and as I said before, I mean it's a process. You just got to keep building on it.
So, you just can't let up either.
You can't let up.
Foot on their neck all the time. That's just
close out the haters. Yeah, the people definitely. That don't want, the people that can't think they do it themselves, so they'll shit on you.
Nobody's ever gonna talk shit on you who's doing more than you. Yeah. And it's one of those things you really have to realize of like, all right, like our podcast might suck, like this episode might suck, but who's gonna talk shit on it? Is it somebody who doesn't have a podcast and has no picture on Twitter, is anonymous, and is going through just leaving hate comments, talking shit because they
just
have nothing
trolling,
better
no
to
cap?
Do? Or is it because chances are if it's somebody who is doing something, who has a podcast, who's being productive, doing something worthwhile, if they see your podcast and it does suck, they're not going to talk shit on you. They're probably going to say, hey, you should try doing this. You should consider this. I do this, and try to help you out with it if they're doing more than you. And if they're not, I think Gary Vee said it best. Of if you're beating me, go ahead and say whatever you want. Talk shit on me. He said, all right, Zuckerberg, you want to talk shit? Go ahead. Yeah. You can say something if you want to. You're beating me.
You've definitely read all of their books.
Who?
Like all these entrepreneurs.
I've read a lot. I've read a lot of them. Yeah. Jeff Bezos is a good one. Everything Store. You should definitely read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. It's about starting Nike.
I've seen that book. I haven't read it.
Dude, I highly recommend it. It's over there on my shelf if you want to look at it at all. But it's on Amazon. Probably my favorite book I've read in my adult life.
So
at the end of the day, I think you just got to take praise and hate the same way. It's like people are going to hate on you, and you kind of got to put it in the back of your head, and like people might like oh, like you're doing so great, blah, blah, blah. You got to put that in the back of your head too, because like at the end of the day, like you still got to go out the next day and keep that shit flowing. Because if you don't, you're just going to stay stagnant. So like you just can't take anything anybody says too seriously ever. Like whatever it is, like you appreciate people that are positive and like, saying good things, but at the same time, it's like, you can't overthink it because then you get in your head about stuff. So
Definitely.
You got to be level with everything.
You also need to kind of like make sometimes business decisions or moral decisions outside of your bubble that you haven't done before that you think that some people won't agree with. And you're just like, well, this is best thing for me.
Definitely.
I mean.
Yep. Yeah, at the end of the day, you got to make yourself happy. You got to make sure that you're top priority with everything that you do too. I mean, I'm not saying like don't help people and stuff, but I'm saying like when it comes down to
definitely.
you're the one running it and you're the one, it's your business. Like you got to make sure it's still centered around you and what you want the business to be at the end of the day.
Exactly how you want it to represent you.
Right. And other people, awesome. how you want to, show yourself in general.
Yeah. Right. I had wanted to ask you how Pittsburgh influenced Hippy at Heart, but I think you kind of already answered that with, talking about the grittiness and just, everything else of how you're doing everything with Randy's restock and flipping everything, grinding like that. So
Pittsburgh is very great. Like look at Lawrenceville strip district. Like I feel like a lot of your customers like live in Lawrenceville, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some hippies in Lawrenceville. Now Lawrenceville's a cool little vibe down there too.
North Shore too.
Yeah, the thing I like,
everyone's like really trying. I think it's like where I got my style from, like Pittsburgh. Like I trend like a lot of like hippie hipster type shirts. Like that's what I like to wear.
Everybody's different too. Like every area is a little different. I just like Pittsburgh too because like it's a big small city.
Yep.
Like it's big enough that you can get stuff done and like you can accomplish whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like if you're a piece of shit person, people are gonna find out and they're gonna find out quick. Like I know shit about people that they don't know that I know shit about, and people probably know stuff about me that I don't know that they know about. It's probably not that bad because I try to not be too big of a piece.
Yeah, right.
But at the end of the day, like that's how the city works. So it's one of those days like you shoot yourself in the foot real quick if you start talking about the wrong person to the wrong person.
Yeah.
So you gotta know when to stop, and you gotta know what to do in general, and like just be a decent person. Like you gotta be good because people are gonna fucking figure you out if you don't. Like.
Definitely.
Real quick, you'll expose yourself in Pittsburgh.
Oh shit! The Islanders scored.
What is it now? What is it?
1-1.
1-1 right now.
8 minutes left in the second.
Okay.
Sorry, we are recording this during Game 3 right now.
We are live during it. So that shows our dedication right now. How dedicated we are to this podcast shooting it during NHL playoffs.
Hey, I mean,
so before we end the show with a little bit of sports, I want to ask one more question. So Brandon, like what's like your overall goal, like the next like 1 to 3 years or 6 months? Like what's like your mission with Hippy at Heart? What are you hoping to do, influence people with, or anything of that nature?
As far as the clothes, I mean, I want to just keep doing unique shit with the clothes. I want to put more stuff out that's different. I've got some ideas to bring back some original designs from like back in the day that I started. I also want to get into like events, like doing shows with like DJs and like kind of really bringing the whole Hippy at Heart like collective of people together and like making it into like a community versus just clothing. You know what I mean? Like I want Hippy at Heart to be like something that people can feel that they're a part of, other than just like wearing a sweatshirt or a shirt too. So that's the next mission. You'll hear some more about that stuff in the future. I have no set plans yet, but I'm working on some stuff, so I can see some things changing here in the future too. And I think for the better now that COVID's kind of heading the other direction and shows are going to start happening and events are going to start happening again. So
yeah,
in the next year or so here, we'll be doing pretty good.
Definitely.
Where you drive? Where are you going? What's your road trip going? Why are you passing through DC?
Yeah, so I'm heading to the Outer Banks with my family. I'm meeting up with them tomorrow, and then we're going to drive the rest of the way on Saturday, and I will be down there in Cape Hatteras until the following Friday, and then Friday morning I am driving from Cape Hatteras to Tampa to go to Sunset Music Festival, which is like basically a big DJ, EDM, bass music, house music festival.
So a lot of clothes will not be worn there.
It's going to be hot. I will tell you that.
It's going to be hot.
It's not going to be cold. It won't be snowing down there, so that'll be nice.
If you see any like weird colored pills, just Don't take them.
Don't
They
eat
are. They
those.
probably aren't vitamins.
Well, they're probably they're probably not vitamins.
No ground scores. Don't pick up the ground scores. Huh? No, yeah, it'll be a good time though, and then I'll be down there till Monday.
Another goal.
let's
We
do
did
it.
it.
The boys are on
Taking the
board.
lead. I like
All
it.
right.
I like it.
Good shit.
So real quick before we go into a little bit of sports, do you have anything else you want to mention on Hippy at Heart? Any kind of discount codes? Anything? Any sales you got going on?
Yeah, so till the end of this week, I got the summer sale going on, trying to make some room for the new stuff. My office is getting quite small with all the vintage shit, so I appreciate everybody's business as always. But 30% off till Sunday night. The promo code is HOT, spelled HAWT. HOT is the promo code. thehippyatheart.com, as you can see
Right
behind
here in
me.
the back.
Type it in at checkout, get 30% off your whole entire order. That's everything. That's all the vintage stuff. That's all the 2021. That's all the 2020 products.
I know that
everything
girl.
on there. Meg, you know Meg?
Yeah.
Shout out to Meg. Meg's the coolest. She's a sweetheart. She's gonna be in Tampa this weekend too. Actually, I'm gonna
nice.
see her this weekend or next weekend, not this weekend. Yeah, Meg's awesome. She's cool. She's a raver too.
That's awesome.
Yep.
We'll throw the codes up on the screen there too. Let them know where to find you before we go into the other stuff on social media, where to find you personally, where to find the Hippy at Heart.
Okay. Personal page is Tourist Look Up, TOURISTS Look Up, and then the Hippy at Heart, Hippy with a Y, HIPPY is on Instagram, the Hippy at Heart, and then Randy Restock, that's the new vintage page at Randy Restock, RANDYRESTOCK on Instagram. Then the website is thehippyatheart.com. That's hippie with a Y, not them old hippies. It's them new hippies.
new era.
And we'll make sure to put that all on the video so you can see it with your eye.
There's all up on the screen and put it in the link as well. Real quick before we go into some sports stuff, give a quick ad read here real quick. This episode is sponsored by Splash CBD.
The good stuff. It smells good.
If you're looking for a THC free CBD, check out splashcbd.net right here. Use the code BLACKANDGOAL15 for 15% off your total order. Every label has a QR code on it, so you can scan it with your phone, pull it up, see the third-party lab results, see everything you're putting into your body. So you're never going to take anything that you don't know that you're taking. So check out splashcbd.net. Give them a follow on Instagram at splash.CBD.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think.
If you want a good sleep at night, or if you just hate your boss or your job, and you had a bullshit week of work or a day, take some Splash CBD and enjoy yourself and throw on some good TV or music.
Awesome. So let's go into some sports a little bit.
We'll talk a little bit of sports before we end the show.
Personal stuff. So Penguins are playing right now, like we mentioned.
Penguins are playing right now.
Series is at 1-1. Pens are up 2-1 currently over the
2-1 currently. Second period's almost over. I do want to talk about the second game though. With I think Brandon Tanev might be my new favorite player. So initially he's always been kind of like a character, like very outspoken guy on the ice. But what I loved was so I'm sitting there watching the game, and Tanev he's on a breakaway about to score a goal, but he trips, slides in with more force because there's more Islanders players behind him. He hits his head off of the goalpost. He's down for 2 minutes, and Pens players are getting in a scuffle with the other players, so they're not around him. He gets just up, and you hear Plain as Day on NBC live. He goes, "Shut the fuck up, you coward!" Fuck you, step up, all this shit, and I died. And NBC analysts were talking, they're oh, whoops, and they just they cut to some other scene real quick. It was great, but
that happens every now and then. They don't see that coming, and they're like, okay, what do we do now?
Yeah, and I thought it was awesome. It was on so many social media outlets. It was on Barstool. It was on probably Bleacher Report, ESPN, all those. Probably not ESPN there, but
it's good for the brand. It's
good.
It's good for the Pens. It's good for the player.
And the great thing about
it's a badass hockey move. You know what I mean? It just sounds good for hockey. So.
And if we play the Caps, the Caps are down 2-1 right now. But if we play the Caps next round, I hope Tanev fights Tom Wilson. That would be awesome because he's so much smaller than Tom Wilson. But I feel like Tanev's scrappy enough and just doesn't. He's too much of he's big enough of a dick to not.
Hothead, yeah.
He's not. He doesn't really worry about his own health. He'll just get his ass kicked by Tom Wilson and
reckless.
And so that would be something to see.
So there's a lot I would love to say about Tom Wilson and my feelings about him. However, he's a partial owner of the boxing gym I go to. So there's a really good chance I could run into him in person, and
or you could be banned.
Or so. And I'll tell you what, if he was not 8 inches taller than me, I would absolutely fight him. But anyway, to go on a little bit from that, like you said, Penguins are playing right now. Hopefully they keep it going.
Your average height, dude. Don't tell people.
We are, but he's a pro athlete.
All right. And he's on skates.
He's on skates. More, at least I think he's like 6'4" without skates. So
yeah. So if you had to rank your no, that's a so okay. I was gonna ask you if you had to rank like your teams in Pittsburgh, who would they be?
As far
you can
as
include
like
Pitt too.
All the sports.
Yeah.
Probably Steelers first, then the Pens, then the Buccos, I guess. Because like I like baseball, like it's obviously not the easiest being a Buccos fan.
I know
but,
that first episode I gave him a rant on Bob Nutting.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't watch it. He could probably like
spend nutting, win nutting. I've actually got one of those shirts. I found one of those shirts in a thrift store this week. It's literally in the back of my car.
Is it trademarked?
It's not trademarked. I will put it up on Randy Restock next week. It will be for sale on Randy Restock. Keep your eyes open.
This is a Hippy at Heart exclusive right now.
Spend nutting,
win nutting.
It's a cool shirt too. It's just like this, like older, like I think it's older. It might be like mid 2000s even, but it's just a black shirt with yellow lettering. Just looks like a Yinzer shirt.
One thing I wanted to bring up when we were talking about the thrift stores and everything. I don't know if you saw the post in the last week. I know you know who Huey Mack is.
Yeah.
And you met him a handful of times.
Huey's got some Hippy at Heart clothes.
DJ Yemi wears it a lot, right?
Yemi's
DJ
my
Yemi
dog.
DJ?
Shout out to DJ Yemi. I love him.
Shout out to DJ Yemi.
He's a great dude. I've known him for a long time. He's just a wholesome, great dude.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I started listening to Huey Mack after he put out the Freshman 15.
Yeah.
So always liked his music. He's been around, but
I like him.
Shout out to DJ Yemi if you ever want to come on the show, or Huey Mack for that matter. You're welcome on the show. What I wanted to say on that, though, Huey Mack actually posted a picture. I guess he went to a thrift store in L.A. and found a Huey Mack, a boy named Hugh, tore T-shirt in the thrift store, and he posted it. Feeling, so he bought it, but he had a picture posted with it with all the tour dates of his initial tour and everything.
I literally said that to somebody the other day. I was like, I don't think Hippy at Heart's made it till I personally find a Hippy at Heart shirt at a thrift store. Like one of these days,
right?
It's gonna happen, but like it hasn't happened yet. But it's gonna happen.
I mean, I've got one of the hoodies right here. This won't ever make it to a thrift store because I love this.
The old very extra
This is probably my
guy.
favorite one. Very extra.
Yep. There's actually only a couple more of those on the website too. They're almost gone for good.
This is my favorite. That's one of my favorite things about the brand too. Is it's always high quality.
I appreciate that.
Items for sure, no matter what it is.
Another Penguin score
was super cool too. Again,
3-1.
3-1.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
All right, I can't wait.
Sorry for the clap, everybody.
Can't wait to go to the bar and shit on Caps fans after this.
Yeah, we're going out in our Pens attire down here in DC. We're gonna tell them what's up.
Going down here and that. Going down. Ain't North Shore, but we're going to get a couple of beers and us.
Boys.
Real quick, I do want to go into a little bit of Steelers talk. So, obviously, speaking of eclectic, things that are classic, Big Ben, obviously a Pittsburgh classic. Yeah. He's been around since, what is it, 2003, I think? 2002. Since Nam. He's been around. So, been our quarterback for all these years. Pittsburgh loves him, obviously. We all know it's closer to the end than the beginning for him, obviously. Yeah. So we have him again this coming year under contract. There's a couple years after that are on Ben's contracts that are still he's signed but are considered voidable.
Right.
My question for you is, what do you think happens after this year? Do you think we bring Ben back and Ben decides to come back to play for a really low salary because he wants to keep making a run with the team we've got with Juju, Chase, Deontay, all the young receivers, Najee, Kendrick Green, the defense we're building, TJ Watt. If the Steelers will have him back, do you think he'll want to come back and play for a lower salary, or do you think he's going to ride off into the sunset, call it a career, and just walk away? What are your thoughts?
As far as money goes, I don't think Ben would walk away because of the money aspect. I think if anything, it's going to come down to, one, how well we play, and two, how healthy he is. I think his health is always just like a huge factor when it comes to whether he's coming back or not. I don't know, just something about like him and Pouncey sitting on the bench at the end of that playoff game at the end of the year. Like
that was sad.
That was heartbreaking.
I think a lot of us thought he was gone. We all were like,
that's what makes me think
man. And the fact that he came back, everybody's like, yeah, like we got Juju came back too. Juju's a real one. Appreciate him for doing that. He took one for the city right there. Didn't do it for the money. I think it was just like it came down to like Juju was staying. Like we got some young guys coming in too, but like a lot of the younger guys that we've had for a while now too have been around for a little bit now. They've been around for a couple 3 years now, so they're kind of a little bit more experienced too. So
they're the young vets.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Ben would just give it up because of the money. I think if he gives it up, it's just because he's getting tired and he's getting there. Like he's getting to that point too. You know. Then again, people were saying the same thing about Tom Brady last year, and look at Tom Brady. He looks like he could play till he's like 85 now, so it's hard to say. But
the only difference between Tom Brady and Big Ben is I could hear Big Ben's knees crack while watching the game.
Tom looks fine. Tom also doesn't get hit as often
as
Ben
true.
gets hit. Ben gets smacked.
I don't know what kind of deal Tom has made with the devil, but like that dude has had a illustrious career of not having no detrimental like
very fortunate.
Hits.
Very fortunate.
You factor that
I think
in.
Big Ben's
He's married
soul is
to
left.
Giselle.
I
think Big Ben's soul has left his body at least like 7 times.
Yeah.
He
gets
that's one
crunched
thing
a
for
couple
sure.
times a year for sure.
Ben has like we're all sports fans. When things happen, like we get mad at him on the field, whether if it's a bad play, whatever it is. But one thing, Ben Roethlisberger has sacrificed so much for the city of Pittsburgh, playing injured, taking contract restructures, showed up time after time when he's just gotten lit up, and still gone out there and kept coming back. So it's one of those things. He loves the city. He loves football. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks, if not the toughest playing. So I've loved him being our quarterback all these years. Everybody thinks he's done after this year, and I think that's probably the most likely option. But with the way they restructured his contract, I know it benefited the team with the way the money is structured, that it can be spread out over the next couple years as far as the cap hit and everything. But I wouldn't doubt if next year you have, say, hypothetically, say the Steelers by some chance don't win the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. Because I hope we do. By some chance we don't. Ben's still going to want another one, I think. And
I think he does.
I think his voidable contract is something like $2.5 million per season. So, the way I look at it, Ben Roethlisberger for $35-40 million a season, I don't want that.
No.
I'm sorry, we can't do that right now. It's just with the way the cap works and everything, we just can't do that. But if we're talking about an experienced Ben playing for $2.5, $3, $4 million, and we can take that other money, put it into other positions, whether it's the line, whether it's the defense, whatever we need to do to make the team better, I'd take him at that. I'd take him at those lower numbers. I think his experience,
I like that.
Definitely can make up for where his age has started to see him decline a little bit. But
I feel like Ben's not going to go out and play unless he feels like he can play 100%. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those dudes. Like even if he's not in the best health, I think his idea of 100% isn't necessarily revolving around how healthy he is too. Like if he can go out there, even if he doesn't feel that great, even if he's feel like he's gotten his ass kicked and he's a little defeated, he's still going to go out there and try really hard and give it his best. You know what I mean? I feel like if he gets to the point where he doesn't think he can do that, then he's going to stop. But I think until he gets to that point, he wants to keep playing. You know what I mean? I don't think he just wants to like roll over,
Definitely. He's not that kind of guy. He's, we talked about earlier multiple times already about the grit of Pittsburgh, and he definitely embodies that.
Yeah,
he definitely embodies that in every way.
Gritsburg.
Yeah, I remember when I don't even remember how old I was. It was whatever rookie year. It was before Roethlisberger's rookie year. Was that like 2000?
It was 2003.
2003, I think it was his rookie
I have a
year.
Steelers photographic memory.
Okay, I was at the Mario Lemieux Celebrity Invitational Golf Tournament in Nevillewood in Pittsburgh, and I remember we were watching. To this day, Dan Marino, I still love Dan Marino to death because he said he didn't have time to sign an autograph, and I gave him the puppy dog eyes and the Sharpie and looked at him. I was like, "Please, mister," and he signed it for me, and I still got Dan Marino's autograph. And to this day, I'm like, Dan. Dog, you're my dude forever now because of that. I appreciate you.
There we go. We got another one right
Dan,
there.
hell of a guy, Pittsburgh guy.
I got this in first grade, and I've had it. I
love that.
Straight out of South Oakland.
A real good dude.
This got lost for about 4 years after I moved out of my college apartment. Yeah. And it just lost in my parents' house, just back stuffed in the middle somewhere. We finally found it.
That's crazy.
I love it, though. It's Pittsburgh legend.
But anyways, at that golf tournament, though, Roethlisberger, we had just picked him up and nobody knew who he was. This was in the days of Tommy Maddox, and everybody's you want to go see the new quarterback play, and everybody's like, nah, he's probably not gonna be that good. There ain't no point. He was signing autographs all day. Could have went and talked to him, and everybody was just nah, let's not worry about it. He'll probably be a fluke, Roethlisberger talking about Big Ben like that. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. Honestly, he's been a blessing to the organization, and he's pretty much an honorary Rooney at this point. So,
definitely,
yeah. I feel like the deal he's gonna make for the team, even if he does leave, it's gonna be more like leaving a will more than it is a contract. You know what I mean? He's gonna make sure everything's cool and he's good forever. So,
yeah, he's set now. So, are there any other Steelers players, anybody else from Pittsburgh, any other big name people that are either repping Hippy at heart that you've talked to, you've sent gear to, Juju, anybody like that? Is anybody into any of the new stuff that you've talked to aside from Terrell Edmonds that we already talked about?
Nah, to be honest, I really don't have too many Ginzer Sport connects when it comes to people like that. I don't reach out as often as I should. I don't want people to think that I'm riding them. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy at the end of the day. If I make a connection with somebody, there's some people, without putting people on blast, there's some people that I've given stuff to. But at the end of the day, I only do it if it feels like the right situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want people to get the wrong idea of what I'm trying to do too. It's I only want to send you clothes if you're actually about it and you like the brand. I'm not just gonna try and send you clothes because you said oh yeah, send me whatever, and then stuff. It sits there and you never even see anybody wearing it, or they don't even appreciate it. I appreciate the genuine people too, because there's people even Edmonds too, just a real nice guy. You know what I mean? I like people that are genuine. I get a pretty good vibe off people and can normally tell who's going to act a certain type of way and who's not too. So if it feels right, I'll reach out to people. And other than that, though, no. I mean, I don't have a slew of athletes or rappers or anything like that really going too crazy.
You've gotten some stuff to Wiz though, right? Wiz, Mod Sun.
It's actually, I've got stuff that's in a box for Mod Sun from my friend that had an interview with him that was scheduled right before COVID started, and he never ended up getting it because she never ended up doing the interview because the show got canceled and so on and so forth too. I think I got stuff to Wiz a long time ago when me and Steel Wheels did that collab too, and that type of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I really haven't went too crazy, with the celebrities, and I've got, some TikTok people and just some homies, people that I know pretty well, but I try to stick to the people that I know are real ones and genuine. I try to not reach out too heavily because I know how brands operate, and I know how that stuff works, and I try to not be that guy. If I meet you and we have a cool connection and it's genuine and then that's a little bit different. But if I don't know you like that, I'm probably not going to reach out. Yeah, unless it's a business transaction type of deal where I know it's cool and everything's straight. I'll do that, but I don't typically try to be your friend, reach out to you and kiss your ass. I'm not going to do that. So.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You're a person at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Just because you play a sport or you can sing or whatever. That's cool. I respect it. Don't get me wrong, but it's
rep my brand, bro. Don't talk me up, man.
I don't want to be that guy. At the end of the day, I don't know, just something awkward about that to me. I don't like trying too hard. Trying too hard makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I know when people try too hard, and it makes me uncomfortable watching them do it. And I just don't like it.
Well, and it's also if somebody at that level, if they want to wear your stuff, if they see it, they're going to, or they're gonna say something.
Well, I can't even tell you how many people I've sent stuff to that said they would wear it and then didn't. You know what I mean? It's like that type of stuff too. Like you learn that real quick, like the first couple years.
What's what you learn as a businessman?
Yeah, I mean, with anything though too. I mean, people like stuff for free, but when it comes to them doing something for you, it doesn't always work the same way.
Definitely.
So yeah, you want to be down with genuine people at the end of the day, not them fly by night people that are down to hang out for the long run. So
Yep.
But that's the thing. If you treat me well, like I'm gonna treat you well too. It's gonna be reciprocated. So
definitely.
Just like all of us, like been
exactly,
cool for
man.
a long time. There's a reason, you know.
I think that's a great note to end it on.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything you guys want to add to close it out here?
Well, all I'm going to say is I hope we have Brandon here as a recurring guest.
Definitely.
And will always be one of our special guests.
Absolutely. Like I said,
4.5 hour drive from Pittsburgh. It wasn't a bad drive. I felt like I got.
I'm glad you made it down, man.
Wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to make it on. Like I said, you're welcome back anytime you want to stop through. Anytime you want to FaceTime in, do an episode.
For sure.
You're always welcome.
I appreciate
like I said, you're the first guest on the podcast, so
I'll be back for the 1,000th episode.
1,000th episode.
We'll have a party. Get real drunk.
Brandon Moon's special guest appearance already.
Can't wait.
On that note, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, show your friends, send it to your family, send it to your grandma, send it to everybody. Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Love everyone.
Love y'all. Appreciate you.